Hi everyone, my name is Wang and I'm the Secretariat for the third Global Corporate Sustainability Award in 2020. In this session, I'll be talking through the best practice category. The best practice award recognizes corporations with outstanding projects and programs in corporate sustainability. Projects that are relevant to corporate sustainability in any forms are eligible. So the eligibility for either the world-class or emerging market category will be based on where the projects are ran, or in certain cases, where the companies are based. Practices are awarded outstanding practice, which means top in the category, or great practice, which means they score above average by the panel judges. Those are some of the award winners for last year. These companies are from different parts of the world, focusing on different sustainability aspects. I'll be explaining through the criteria based on one of the award winner last year. The project is called Act Globally, Locally, Inspiring Globally, Empowering and Act Alum Tribe through Innovative Social Forestry for Better Life. This company called Pin-Chih Pertamina Hulu Energy. The project was awarded Outstanding Practice in 2019, and this picture shows the award ceremony in 2019. This project was run by the subsidiary of Pertamina Hulu Energy called Jambi Maran, which they've done significant amount of work on improving quality of life of this tribe called Anak Dalam tribe in their education, health, environment, and economic aspects to achieve what they call the decent life changes and not leaving their culture, history, and local wisdom by placing community as the subject of change. The project was run in South Sumatra and Jambi area of Indonesia. That's the award criteria. 25% on strategies and objectives, 40% on impacts, effectiveness, and continuity, and 35% on performance and leadership. For the 25% on strategies and objectives, there's a word limit of 1,200 words. So issues to address include, but not limited to, project backgrounds, project aims, target groups, the integration with target communities, stakeholder engagement, and people involved in this project. Bear in mind that it's a sustainability project, so it's very important to give reference to goals, standards, or guidelines that are relevant. For example, the most commonly known United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. In this case of this project, they've given reference not just to SDGs, but also to ISO 26000 and also to their company's CSR operation policy. Project objective. So in this project, the background was very clear about Anak Dalam tribe, whom have fall behind in development of technology, and also they have very limited access to health and education. They have a very natural dependent lifestyle, which became vulnerable when there's a change in forest function. And the issue faced by community led to what they call cultural poverty, which means losing their cultural heritage. And that's going to affect from one generation to the next. They aim to achieve in this project by creating integrated environmental social forestry, economic empowerment, improving education and health, community advocacy for personal legal rights, and promote social forest area. So they've listed out very clearly people involved in this project. As you can see, they've got the community members, government agencies, NGOs, some of the academic experts, some of the third parties, and also within their company, they have different business units, as well as their business partners, which specializes in marketing. They've described how they engage with their stakeholders by multiple attempts to reach out to the community and gain trust from them, and how they integrate with their target community to change their lifestyle in a decent way and not leaving their culture and history and local wisdom behind. So the 10% on relevance of the projects, it's about how the project is relevant to their community or stakeholder. The objective they've set for this project includes economic empowerment, which means create better job opportunities for the community, improving their health and education, which means they have education and they have access to healthcare services. And also they have community advocacy for personal legality, which in this case, in the community, they have a problem of people randomly giving them papers to sign, taking their goods, and the community people don't really know the cost behind signing those agreements. So they're helping them with their personal legal rights. They have their other stakeholders include their company's operation policy in CSR and also the government, which they work closely with. The next 40% on impacts, effectiveness, and continuity. So the 15% impacts, which will be assessed on the coverage of the projects and the influence made to the target community. There's a word limit of 1,000. The impacts brought by Phe in this case, we can be assessed by geographical and demographic coverage. So who are the beneficiaries? So it's very important to give numbers. It doesn't mean big numbers are better, but it's important to give numbers. The meaningful changes to the target groups. In this case, the community gets access to clean water, access to health and education, healthy housing with technology, which are supported by electricity. And the next part, which can be very challenging, is how the project is differentiated to other programs of similar nature. So in this program, they've specified how the programs accounted for the local history, cultural root, and social values, and also innovative technologies, which are powered by solar energy. So 15% on effectiveness, so which means effectiveness of the projects and programs in achieving its objectives. There's a word limit of 1,500 here. Some of the key aspects, schedules and plan. The big question by many people are how long the project can be. The answer is that there's no specific time given as long as you give a timeline. Some projects can be just 1 year or some can be 10 to 20 years. So it really depends on the nature of the project. Leadership involvement, stakeholder engagement, project execution, integration plan, performance measurement, management approach, and etc. Effectiveness described in this project includes from a communication aspect to stakeholders. So they have evaluated and monitored community by their community development officer team. And their community development team are intensively placed in the tribal community site for on-site technical demonstration. And also they've worked closely with their local government. The project execution was clearly described by describing their cross-functional cooperation between business units and also with their external marketing partner, which helps selling the salted fish produced by the community. In the measurement and monitoring process, which is a very critical part many companies do miss out last year. It's about how the projects are being monitored from a performance and return perspective. In this case, they've actually calculated social return on investment, the SROI, which is very technical sustainability measurement. It doesn't mean every project needs to do SROI or equivalent, but it's important to show some kind of returns and some numbers which are being measured and monitored from time to time. So the management approach they've conducted include training their employees on SROI and setting a strategic plan for 5 years, which they continue to measure return on investment. They have an overall effectiveness on increasing the income for the tribe, social forestry lands being utilized for protection and which are being protected from logging. And also a total of 8 students from the floating school received education which is equivalent to elementary school and now pursuing junior high school. So another 10% on continuity, which means the impact created to the target group that are sustainable from a long-term perspective. The 10% is integrated into the word limit for effectiveness and impacts. So in this case, the program was carried out in stages. So that's how they try to monitor how this project can be continued in stages, encouraging the young generations to be aware of the education for indigenous tribe, simulating the burst of innovation within the community. For example, what they call the Pinocchio pump, which is a clean water filter produced by the community through innovation. And they've also generated a so-called multi-stakeholder synergy, which I'll explain in later section. The last 35% on performance and leadership. So it's the achievement of the project from sustainability perspective in social, economic, and environmental dimensions. The performance aspects may include achievement for the organization itself, impacts on people involved and its target population. The result is how it's in accordance with the objective and stakeholder engagement. So that's what they call this. They have a so-called multi-stakeholder synergy, which aims at promoting the community's independence, guarantee the sustainability of the program. They have an activity of 5-year roadmap with the multi-stakeholder synergy. For example, they have institutional assistance and capability building in education, health, and economic empowerment, stimulating support infrastructure assistance and product marketing. And they've listed out who are the stakeholders involved. And they've actually drawn out a diagram showing how they come up with the multi-stakeholder synergy. The last 10% on leadership, so how the project sets an example in their respective industry. So there's a 400-word limit. So that's in this section. So their leadership to others. So they have a leadership involvement by having board directors visiting regularly. So the top management are aware and know about what's happening at the front line. And also the high level involvement do encourage employees to be integrated with the other business units in their company. And also the innovative result from integration of internal and external stakeholders, for example, engineering division, medical teams, and the community members. And as a result of they've also achieved the Gold Proper rating, which is a corporate performance rating assessment from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry in Indonesia. Some of the common feedbacks from the panel judges in 2019, some of the projects enters a lack of relevance to their company's core business. Bear in mind that in sustainability, we do emphasize that their projects needs to be related to their business know-how and their core business activities. So no or insufficient measurement of return from project inputs. So as mentioned earlier, this project has done a great job in measuring SROI. It can be any form of ad measurements, not just SROI, but it's important to measure return from project inputs. If not, the companies are only placing cost into those projects without getting any returns. Lack of clarity in connection with sustainability terms such as SDGs. So bear in mind, it's a sustainability project. It's very important to give reference to any standards or guidelines that are relevant to sustainability. The impacts are not quantified, so important to give numbers. The impacts should assess from different dimensions of ESG. So the impacts needs to be taking into account of environment, social, and business aspect. In case if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email on gcsa@thais.org.tw. So some of the frequently asked questions, so how many winners per year? The answer is that the number of winners each year will really be dependent on the overall performance of the participants. So there's no specific number, it's up to the decision of the panel judges. So do I have to be at the ceremony? I guess that's a big question during the pandemic. The answer is not necessary. The trophy can be posted to you after the ceremony, and you will be mentioned at the ceremony. How is the award being upgraded? It's through a panel judge community. They can be coming from any kind of background, including academic, industry, advisory companies, and etc. Is there a time period set for the project? The answer is, as mentioned earlier, there's no particular time period set for the project. So it can be a project that lasts for either a year or 10, 20 years, because projects do vary in length and nature. So the entries are now open. We're closing on the 31st of August, so that's the timeline. The result will be announced in early October. Then that's a guideline to how you can submit your entry. So you go to the website, create a login, and go to My Entries, choose Best Practice, and you can enter as many projects as you want. Okay, well, I wish you all the best, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the award. Thank you.